Michael Cohen was a family practice doctor in Charlottesville, Virginia. He focused solely on medicine, not research, and said the greatest joy came from caring for his patients. He had a wonderful life with his wife Leah and their 3 young children, ages 8, 5, and 2. They were Reformed Jews who attended a beautiful synagogue about 8 miles away. In his free time, Michael enjoyed studying early American history, especially the colonial period in Virginia and surrounding regions. He loved uncovering old documents about families or politicians from that era. One day, while exploring a cave in West Virginia and admiring ancient Native American artwork on the walls, he was about 50 feet up rock climbing, a hobby he'd had since his teens, when his rope snapped. He fell all the way to the cave floor and lost consciousness. When he woke, he found himself lying on hay in a barn, near horses. His sleeping gown was torn, and his skin felt different, darker. Looking down, he realized he was a light-skinned black girl. Overwhelmed, he fainted again. Upon waking, a black man dressed like a butler called out, "The overseer wants to know where you are, Rebby." She smiled and replied, "Here I is." The man, Thomas, warned, "Get dressed quickly and make yourself presentable, or you'll face the overseer's whip." She obediently answered, "Yes, sir." Carrying a pail of water, she washed up and caught her reflection. The young girl looking back was about 11 or 12, with a pretty face. She found a dress nearby and changed into it. Memories filled her mind. She was Rebecca Hawkins, a slave born on the Wales estate in Virginia. She worked inside the house, cleaning silver and china, hoping one day to care for the Wales children. As she walked toward the house, she spotted the overseer, Patrick, an Irishman she despised. He was fat and ugly, known for whipping slaves just for amusement and abusing the women. Patrick was angry because Rebecca was late. Fearful, she greeted him, "Good morning, sir," and curtsied. He snarled, "If you're late again, I'll whip your back till it bleeds." He struck her once, then she hurried to the kitchen. Inside, the kitchen slaves greeted her. She began preparing glasses and plates for the master's breakfast. The work was grueling. She toiled for 18 hours. Around 1 a.m., as she headed back to the barn, a drunk Patrick blocked her path. He offered her a piece of apple, which she accepted politely with a curtsy. Suddenly, he grabbed her, ignoring her protests, assaulting her and leaving cuts on her face and chest. She fled to the barn, tears streaming as she noticed her dress torn in several places. She woke late the next day, needing to clean dried blood from her skin. At the main house, she spoke with Erica, the head house slave, telling her the dress was ruined by a wolf. Erica doubted the story but gave her a new dress anyway. Confused, Rebecca sensed memories that weren't hers, a person with 3 daughters who was a doctor. She feared a spirit had entered her but didn't know the person's identity or gender. The following day, Erica told Rebecca she would serve Martha Skelton, the master's half-daughter. Martha was 24, widowed, and had lost her only son. Rebecca felt joy at the change. Now working for Miss Martha, Rebecca cared for her clothing and learned how to be a proper house slave. Martha was kind and even gave her nice clothes. Miss Martha explained that her father was a white slave owner, while her mother had been a slave born in Africa. Rebecca was stunned. She knew she was lighter skinned than other slaves but had never realized her father owned slaves. Miss Martha decided that Rebby was a prettier name, so from then on, Rebecca became Rebby Hawkins. Miss Martha also began teaching her to read and write. Some house slaves resented Rebby because Miss Martha favored her, partly due to her light skin. They generally disliked mulattoes, a term from Spanish and Portuguese meaning a mule, symbolizing mixed heritage. Miss Martha was courting a gentleman from near Charlottesville. Rebby was captivated by the stories of their dates. She met him once and was amazed. He was tall and handsome. That gentleman was Thomas Jefferson. Rebby started learning to read the Bible and grew to love it, admiring Jesus deeply. Her writing skills improved as well. One night, while walking the path from the great house to the slave quarters, Rebby was attacked by Patrick. He assaulted her and stabbed her multiple times with a knife. She lay helpless until 3 slaves passing by found her and carried her to the quarters. She remained immobile for about a week before gathering the strength to report the attack. When the master questioned Patrick, he denied everything, blaming other slaves. Rebby didn't argue but was furious. Patrick was no Christian. The master dismissed Patrick from his post. Rebby's wounds slowly healed. About a year ago, she began menstruating but didn't understand pregnancy. A fellow slave explained she was pregnant. Confused, Rebby asked Miss Martha what would happen. Martha told her the baby would be sold to slaves like her. Rebby found some comfort in the thought that the child of Patrick would be enslaved too. After 9 months, Rebby gave birth to a boy with straight, light brown hair and green eyes. She wanted to name him Patrick, but other slaves advised against it. Instead, she named him Moses. He was taken away a month later. Though sad, she hoped he would be all right. Miss Martha announced her upcoming marriage to Mr. Jefferson, and that about 35 slaves would move with her to Monticello. Rebby was among them. The wedding was magnificent, and Miss Martha was radiant. At Monticello, Rebby served as Miss Martha's personal slave. Mr. Jefferson was busy with political duties, attending the House of Burgesses and later the Continental Congress in Philadelphia. Miss Martha frequently visited him. She bore 7 children, though only 2 daughters, Patsy and Polly, survived into adulthood. Rebby often dreamed of being trapped in a cave nearby. In the dream, she had a wife and 3 children, all white. She told Miss Martha, who dismissed it as fantasy. But Rebby was frightened, fearing some evil spirit had taken hold of her soul. Miss Martha reassured her with a laugh, saying it was just a dream. Rebby thanked her, and Miss Martha smiled warmly. When Miss Martha traveled to Philadelphia, Rebby accompanied her. It was Rebby's first visit to the North, and she was amazed by the large city and the free black people there, some born free, others freed by their masters. Rebby met an African-born shaman, a tall, thin woman who examined her and declared something was wrong. She said Rebby was actually a white man, a doctor from 250 years in the future, with 3 children. Rebby was stunned and confused by this revelation. Though she didn't understand much science, she listened closely. Meanwhile, Miss Martha was pregnant with her 3rd child. Her first husband's son had passed young, and her daughter Patsy was thriving. Martha was frail and often ill. Rebby prayed for her well-being. Rebby returned to visit the shaman, who said she could open a wormhole to travel back or forward in time and speak with others. Rebby didn't fully understand but wanted to try. They joined hands as the shaman chanted strange words. The shaman explained the wormhole would remain open only briefly. Suddenly, a male voice spoke through her lips, telling Rebby he wanted to visit her time and meet Mr. Jefferson. He invited her to visit his era too, saying she would inhabit his body. He had a loving wife and 3 wonderful children, no slavery in his time. He asked if she was willing. Rebby admitted she was scared but agreed. Michael instructed her to say 3 words, Klaatu Barada Nikto. She spoke them and was engulfed in bright light, finding herself in an office. She was now a man, dressed in a suit, white shirt, and lab coat. Meanwhile, Michael's soul was in Rebby's body in the 18th century, while Rebby's was in Michael's body in the present, a confusing swap for anyone to grasp. In the past, Rebby cherished caring for Miss Martha and enjoyed conversations with Mr. Jefferson, who was amazed by her knowledge, thanks to Michael's mind. When Miss Martha died, Rebby was heartbroken along with Mr. Jefferson. They walked hand in hand, discussing philosophy, politics, and science. Rebby admired him deeply, believing he was a true Renaissance man. When Mr. Jefferson was appointed ambassador to France, he brought Rebby along. Since France had abolished slavery, she was paid a salary for the first time. She studied French cuisine and language and received elegant gowns from him. They stayed there for 26 months. Returning to America, President Washington appointed Jefferson's Secretary of State. Rebby and Jefferson moved to Philadelphia. Rebby's room was adjacent to Jefferson's. He loved her deeply but knew marriage or an open affair would ruin his political career. Their relationship remained secret. Rebby bore him 5 children, all fair-skinned with straight hair. When Jefferson became vice president under Thomas Adams, they stayed together in secrecy. Later, as president, Jefferson's daughter Martha served as first lady, but Rebby ran the household. Back in the 21st century, Michael Cohen was unaware of his life as a physician, husband, and father. His soul was now in Rebby's body. His speech carried a southern accent and broken English, unlike the New York English he once spoke. He was afraid of modern technology, cars, electricity, airplanes. He quit his job, and Leah divorced him, taking full custody of their children. He fell into depression. Living alone in a Charlottesville studio, Michael attended synagogue Friday nights and Saturday mornings. He avoided driving, relying on buses and walking. Without TV or computer, he spent most time alone. Life in the 21st century was a horror for him, but the one comfort was freedom. At synagogue, he helped prepare Oneg Shabbat, the snack after services, naturally, like a servant in his soul. Another volunteer caught his attention, a petite woman with curly dark brown hair and eyes. She wasn't striking or intellectual but had a kind heart. They started talking, then dating. Her name was Rebecca. After 3 years, Michael proposed. She accepted. They had a joyful synagogue wedding, inviting friends and congregants. Michael found work at an antique store, loving old furniture. Rebecca worked as a supermarket cashier. Together, they raised 4 children, centering their lives around family. Back in the past, Rebby reviewed and improved Mr. Jefferson's letters and documents. She was his trusted assistant, though she never revealed her 21st century origins. Jefferson passed in Monticello on July 4, 1826, the same day as Thomas Adams. Martha and Rebby mourned together. After Jefferson's death, Martha granted Rebby official freedom. She lived nearby to be close to relatives and passed away in 1835, having lived a fulfilled life. Did Michael's soul enjoy life as a woman? It seems so. He loved immersing in the past and held deep affection for Mr. Jefferson. All in all, he found happiness as Rebby. So, was this history or fiction? You decide. Don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content.